Hello everybody and welcome to episode 10 of my South Olympic Branch updates. And from the last episode, the glue has dried, so the dwarf signals for the east end of Elma Yard are now in place, and as you can see they're lit up using the Circuitron Tortoise application note AN-6000-02. I went and wired those directly to the Tortoises, so this is pretty simple signaling stuff. Just about as simple as it gets when it comes to signals. And so if I just switch one of them, you'll see some lights change there. Pretty cool little effect. Will help my operators figure out what track they're actually going on and hopefully keep them from derailing. I might have mentioned a while back that I got a pretty screaming deal on some Tortoises that were used, and well, this is why. You can see there's a bunch of wires they just cut off and left on there, and it can be kind of a pain, but I'm taking my soldering iron and I put the Tortoise gently in a vise to hold it, and then I'm just going through with some pliers and pulling those wires off after I heat them up. And here we have the finished result. In a previous episode I talked a little bit about using the doing the signal, wiring it with Ethernet cable using the BOD8 from RR-Cirkits, which has inputs for 8 sensors for block detection. Each Ethernet cable has 4 twisted pairs of wire, so that'll basically be able to connect 4 of the coils. So I kind of had to think, I've been thinking a lot about how to break this down and try to get started doing this. So I decided that main 1 and main 2 of the yard would have their own detection, and that would end at what I call the west crossover right here. Then main 1 would have its own detection section and would come around into the peninsula into what I would call chemical junction, which is where the chemical plant switch is. And main 2 would come around and split at what I'm calling intermodal junction, which will be back here. Intermodal junction will go, well, for now, there's going to be an intermodal plant that's going to be on the other side of the divider here. I may change that, but anyway, so I'm going to call that an intermodal junction for now, and so it'll come out to intermodal junction. And then there's a third track back here. It gets a little busy with track back here, but you got to make some compromises. Anyway, this is the yard lead, and the yard lead is also going to have its own detection. Well, one of the cables, of course, can't handle all of that. So I decided that it would make more sense. And I'm going to turn the camera here a little bit. We're going to get dizzy, as I like to say. You can spin around here and you'll see the cement plant. Well, right about here is where the switch for the, let me just pick up the cement plant, move it right now, a moment. This is where the switch for chemical junction is. And then the next detection section will go from here. It's kind of like the junction, what's your function in it? Anyway, School House Rock, what can I say? Let's see, so from here to here is chemical junction to the upper mains for the peninsula. And then there's a detection section for each one of those mains. So basically you got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so that'll actually take all the capacity that one Ethernet cable can do, and it's going to be 4 sections, right? Because 2 times 4 is 8. So that's going to take all that twisted pair for that one section. And then the other ones the other 4 detectors, we're going to move back over here again. The other 4 detectors will be the ones that will be from main 2 and the yard lead, and also main 1 and main 2 from the west crossover to the east crossover, which is down there where all those thumbtacks are, because I'm also laying in some more road bed. And basically, that's where I'm going to start with detection. Okay, I've been struggling with this, but I think I might have gotten it finally. So you'll hear the locomotive spin up in a second here. There we go. Watch the signal and the traffic monitor up on the left. Yay, red light. Okay, now I'm going to stop and I'm going to back up. And here we go. And so light's green, the trap is clean. Hey, cool. Before you start to make changes to the configuration of a node, it's a good idea to make a backup of the standard configuration of that node in case something goes wrong and you end up needing to reapply the entire thing. Nodes don't come with an automatic backup, but in JMRI down at the bottom there's a little button that says backup, and that allows you to make a text file of the setup of the node. This is a close-up of part of the CDI window, and we want to point out a couple of quick things about it. So in this window, I have outlined 3 areas. The first is just under the word select mast, and that's where the mast name lives. The mast name is set under mast ID, which is also outlined in red. When you type in the description or make any changes, you're going to want to click the right button that's to the right of these items. The changes really aren't made until you do just that. This is a screenshot of what they call the OpenLCB dialog. It shows you the events as they are happening. Using this tool is the easiest way I know to find out what event is being triggered by a piece of hardware. Here I've outlined the IDs that are generated when a locomotive enters or leaves the block, so you can see what I'm actually going to copy and move over into the other part. I've talked a little bit about the hardware, so I thought I'd spend some time talking about how the software setup is. First, there's what we call the configuration description information in JMRI. With the Signal LCC connected to the computer and JMRI open, we're looking at the segment rule to aspect outlined in red in this picture. Here we can name the actual mast, and you'll see that I've named it Upper Peninsula Outer Main, and I've set just above that the function of mast processing to normal. Further down that first page we have rules, and there are 8 of them, but I'm only going to show you the first one for this particular thing. You'll see that under name it says 0 stop, and then beneath that it says track speed on approach to signal. The name 0-stop and track speed on approach signal stop are both required for this to work. Below that you'll see it says Event ID, C. The C stands for consumer, and that's because that's an event ID that it's looking for. When it sees that ID, it knows that it needs to do the tasks above, which in my case changes the signal to red. And now, down at the bottom here, we have where it says appearance, individual lamp aspects, and then integer lamp selection and integer lamp phase. I'm doing fairly simple things here, so I'm just going to have it do a solid color. Therefore, I'm leaving lamp phase at steady. The output I'm turning on the board is number 3 H1-R. In this particular instance, that's connected to a red LED. One of the cool things about this is that you can pretty much connect whatever color of LED to that output that you want and have it set up to turn on by whatever event that you want. But in my case, I'm trying to keep it simple. There'll be a green LED for when the block is clear and a red LED for when the block is occupied. I want to thank Dick Bronson from RR-Cirkits for his technical support on this signaling project. It's been interesting, it's been challenging. I hope you guys have enjoyed this as well. And, definitely we'll revisit this more in future videos. In the meantime, that'll be it for episode 10. Stay safe out there. Enjoy those trains.